Is Meg 2 The Trench as bad as people are making it out to be? No. But is it a bad movie overall? Yes. Let's get into my review. So you probably heard the news that Meg 2 The Trench opened with 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. At the time of recording this right now, it's currently sitting at 28%. Now, I think the 28% is a more accurate reflection. I just didn't think this movie was great. They had one job: show us Jason Statham versus a giant Meg, and I still feel like they struggled to hit that mark. And yeah, he does fight a Meg. He actually fights multiple Megs, but it doesn't happen until the last 25 minutes of the movie, and it's just very anticlimactic. Without giving any spoilers away, if you watch the trailer, you've basically watched Jason Statham versus that Meg. That's it. You might as well just not see the movie. There is a part where he's on a jet ski. That's the only part he fights the Meg. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Now, the movie's called The Trench, so fine. We probably should have lowered our expectations and said this is going to be about a trench. It is. And the first hour and a bit of this movie is set under the sea in a place called The Trench. And I have to say, I don't know whether it was my screen that I was in or whether it was the movie itself, but it was so dark that I couldn't see what was going on. There were so many cuts between dark scenes to the Megs floating around, and it's just dark and very minimal lighting, and you couldn't tell which character was who. There were some scenes where some characters were dying and I was like, who is that? I'll just wait till it's bright to see who's missing, and then I'll put the pieces together. In my opinion, the supporting cast are what let this movie down even more. I didn't like any of them. I thought their acting performances were terrible. I thought the dialogue that they had was terrible. It was cheesy, it was cringy. All of them just were very flat in their performances, and when they do try, they're just going over the top, and it felt like a pantomime. I just didn't really like any of the other characters in this movie other than Statham. So yeah, if you went looking for Jason Statham versus Meg, you will get that, but you're not going to get as much of it as you think. It doesn't come until very late on in the movie, and to be honest, you're going to probably leave being like, I expected more from that. And it's annoying, isn't it? Because this movie was being laughed at for being Jason Statham versus a Meg in the first place. People go expecting that, and it's barely anything like that. So overall, I have to give Meg 2 The Trench 2.5 stars out of 5, and I'd probably give it a 4.5 out of 10. It's not as bad as it's being made out to be, but I do think that 28% on Rotten Tomatoes is fair, because I went in expecting a really fun time to just switch my brain off, and I still was sitting there this is just so bad. So they had one job. I don't think they ticked that box, but if you've seen it, let me know. If you plan on seeing it, also let me know. If you liked the review and you like all the other content on my page, do drop me a follow. I would love that, and I'll see you in the next one.